I got tased yesterday.
Why?
Yeah, were you robbing a store?
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Today is January 5th, 2023. That's still weird. Everybody's writing in on their stuff, which is always weird. I know you're going through that too. We got the whole squad. Dan's in Hawaii still. We got Trent and Frank here on Long Island. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I got a big announcement.
Ooh.
Okay.
Big announcement. First, I want to note that I'm wearing my TaylorMade hat. Feels like we got to defend the wall right now because fucking everybody with an Instagram account signing a equipment deal, which we get into. But big announcement. I got tased yesterday.
Why?
Were you robbing a store?
By an Axon taser, in conjunction with our good friends at Axon. And this was, my legs are still unbelievably sore. And I actually can't tell if that's from the tasing, in which they did say your legs would be sore from that, or if it's from, they make you warm up beforehand. So I was doing standing squat jumps and jumping jacks and shit. I honestly think that's what my legs are sore from. But anyways, like a year ago, I agreed to get tased in some deal with Gisner, and I actually can't remember the situation. I think we were at the Waste Management, and they're having a big thing, and I agreed to get tased. I got super drunk the night before, woke up with the scaries and was like, dude, there's no way I can get tased today. I will perish from planet Earth. And he's like, no, I know you're bailing out. I was like, I'm really not scared. I'm scared to walk outside right now because I'm shaking so much. Anyways, follow up. This past weekend we were hanging out and he was like, oh, we got this huge conference this week. Everybody's in town for Axon. They're kicking off their year. It's their whole hoorah. Let's fucking go. Let's have the best 2023 ever. Spaceships, all that. So we started talking. He's like, well, why don't you come in? We're doing it in front of a bunch of people. It's kind of part of the company ethos and part of their initiation of everybody gets tased and it's great and it's fun. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I said I would do it. I'll do it. So I drove there last night in a really weird move where I drove to a hotel where there was a big convention going on just to get tased. But I know Isner loves it. It's his favorite thing in the world when people get tased. So I was like, I'll get fucking tased. And I've had 2 or 3 good days of sleep and we'll talk about Whoop. I'm in good shape. So I'm like, I'll go get tased. First of all, I walk in and it is Axon to the moon, literally. Everybody's got a fucking costume on. There's Buzz Lightyear walking around. I saw Lurch in a big red hoodie. There's fucking astronauts. Gisner had just gotten rid of his astronaut outfit. It's everything we've talked about with corporate Axon to the moon. And then here I am in my Barstool Golf Peter Millar hoodie. I'm like, I'm here to get tased, whatever.
I'm the taser guy.
I will say it is it hurts a lot. And yeah. I'll say it's really weird. I was thinking about it a lot all night because everybody's asking me right afterwards, oh, what'd you think? And you're kind of giving them just words that come to mind. And you don't think about it that much. It's very, very rare or almost never occurred where you actually feel a sensation in your body that is basically pure, unfiltered, 100% meant to be pain and your body panicking of we might be dying. And right. It lasts for about 5 seconds of you can't move. Every muscle in your body is spasming it and is in severe pain. And I was texting with Lurch about it a bunch afterwards. The last couple seconds are, you think oh no, is it broke? Did it break? And I'm just tased forever now. Is this never going to fucking end? And then finally it ends and you're fine. But yeah, I got tased yesterday. You get a couple bruises from it and stuff. They just fucking hit you with a taser.
Well, I got one obvious question that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Is there video?
There's video, but I have to say it's embargoed because of the time of year and the release of certain products. But I imagine the video will go out eventually. It's okay. Unfortunately, it's not. I do have the video. Unfortunately, it's not. It was pretty there's a guy on each arm. You get tased, you just go down, and I didn't yelp or piss my pants or anything.
No, but I still think that's a worthwhile video. Obviously,
I think the worst case scenario for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Worst case scenario, you shit your pants, you throw up, you say something ridiculous. That's worst case scenario. But even you saying I had 2 guys holding my arms, they tased me, and I went down. That's a video I want to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to figure out the embargo situation because, again, it's early in the year and they got new product and stuff coming out. So I know that that's a concern. I'm sure the video will hit the interwebs at some point. But yeah, it's getting tased sucks. Breaking news for anybody out there.
What was the point of contact? Because I watched The Hangover recently, and all I could think about was him getting tased in the face, and I don't think that's what happened.
So they, it's like a whole room of people, and I'm on like a big screen too that they've got like the footage on, like a jumbo fucking Tron, and then they got one of their guys in a fucking costume is like interviewing me, who I know and have met before, and then they kind of just you don't like it. They shoot you from behind, so it's mostly like the back of the legs or the back, like the middle of the back, so you don't know what's coming. So they're kind of like grabbing you, and they're like, yeah, just be loose. Loosen up those arms. You're like, okay. And then they kind of grab your arms. You're like, yeah, loosen up. And then like, bam, they just fucking hit you. And so it's you can tell too, like it's accent culture, right? So afterwards they're all like, I'm in the crew now. They're like, yeah, dude, you did it. Congrats. And I'm like, I don't know. The congrats is
great. No, Riggs is not going to show up to any podcast. And we're going to have to find another host.
We lose another guy to Axon. It is funny that no matter how high you go on the corporate ladder or in any facet of life, that it gets to a certain point where guys just want to be dudes and they want to fuck each other up with a taser, or they want to like haze each other. It's no matter how high you go, they're like, yeah, you can have this job, but also with this corporate retreat that we do, we tase each other, and then we're even better friends.
It was very funny just watching like every, 60 seconds or so, someone just got tasered and people were like clapping. Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was like a taser Congo line where everyone just stepped up, got tased.
Pretty much. I had to like cut the get tased line to, like Isner walked me up and was like, I need to cut the line. We're going to get this guy in and out. And they hit you with it.
You're not a real Barstool employee until Dave yells at you, until he really yells at you.
Yeah.
You're not an Axon employee until you get tased at a conference.
That's a good point. I would say you're not really a Barstool like personality or whatever fucking dumb term we use nowadays, talent, air quotes talent, until like the comment section turns on you. I would say then you're really a Barstool person.
I'm a 5-star general.
I've been here since day one. There was never a time when I wasn't a Barstool employee.
It happens faster now.
I was trying to. It was almost like Yellowstone with like getting. When you get the brand of the why, it was like these people is what they do in order to be considered you're like part of the team. You're trustworthy now is you got to get tased. So they were all congratsing me afterwards. There were some stoolies in there hooting and hollering. So yeah, I got tased yesterday. My legs feel more sore than they've ever felt in my entire life, which is
I can't wait to see the video. I'm so excited to eventually see that.
Yeah, I'm bummed. I think people are going to be disappointed by the video, but you'll see the video. It's out. It'll be out.
No, people want to see people get tased.
That's fair. That's fair. Our presenting sponsor, we spoke a lot about sponsorships on this show, or we do speak. I don't know where this ad read's going. Chevy. Chevy's come on in a big way. They supported us at the Barstool Classic Championship. They had a bunch of their team there. They wanted to see what we're all about in person. They wanted to see what all of our fans are about, listeners, people that partake in the Barstool Classic, people that view our videos, buy our merchandise. And they were blown away and said, you know what? This crew is our kind of crew. We want to come on in a big way. We want to be the presenting sponsor of the Foreplay Golf Podcast. And we're also coming on in a big way in the EV game. Electric vehicles, electric utility vehicles, the Bolt you can go check out right now. I was talking on the last show about how I wanted to get the Blazer EV, which you can go on the website and build out and pre-order. I had some folks reach out and say, you should check out the Silverado. Maybe you're a truck guy. So maybe I'll be a truck guy. I haven't decided yet. But the Silverado, the Blazer, a bunch of the different models that Chevy has built and that you have come to know and love as just a human being that exists and sees how beautiful Chevys are.
I think I might need a flatbed or like a truck.
Think so?
Well, my crew, I know I'm not that kind of guy. I saw Trent's face.
I want you to know you're not. I want people to buy that truck, but I don't know if Frankie Borelli needs that truck.
The only reason is that it's practical in my crew. Like every time we need to like fill up a car or like go somewhere, or like I'm driving to the Islander game and I got 5 people, we can't fit people in cars. We can't fit luggage. I tried to bring a karaoke machine to Borelli's for New Year's Eve and we couldn't like pick up our friends on the way because it took up my entire back seat. It's like, I'm constantly getting frustrated by no space in cars. Like everyone in my life has a compact car or like a small SUV. And it's getting very frustrating. Someone needs to just like get a Silverado. You know what I mean? And it might be me then. And I know I'm going to get the looks. I know I'm going to get looks.
One truck.
Dude, and like moving into like all my friends are starting to buy houses. Like we got to rent U-Hauls. What is that? I don't want to rent a U-Haul.
Trent knows this. Very funny than the difference regionally, because in the Midwest, everybody has a truck.
I can get you 5 trucks in 10 minutes.
If you can't even find a truck on Long Island in my crew.
No.
I've lived out here for 6 months now. I haven't seen a single truck.
I mean, there are trucks. There's definitely trucks, but like, there's definitely people that have Silverados out here. I'm just saying, my crew in particular, are a bunch of pussies. We don't have trucks. We have like sedans. You know what I mean? Like we have compact cars. And
you might need to get one.
We get to park in the compact car section at the
Go to the Chevy
arena.
website. Check out their EVs. EVs are now for everyone, everywhere, from our very good friends and our presenting sponsors at Chevrolet. All right. Another thing, I got a correction. Game of Thrones was 8 seasons. I know we were talking about seasons last show, and we were like, oh, yeah, it was only like 5 or 6. It was actually 8. So I want to do a correction on that. But I do think, and then I think Frankie brought it up like that was a bad example, because Game of Thrones is one of the more successful shows of all time. But to the point that he was making, which I've heard Kirk Minahan make this point a lot too, which is for us to be doing this show as long as we've been doing it, think about your favorite shows that you watch or any TV show that you watch. A lot of times you're pretty much checked out by season 2 or 3. You start to get to the point where you're like, all right, season 1 was great. Season 2 had some solid fundamentals, went a little bit off the rails. By late season 2, season 3, something like that. A lot of times you're sort of like, they lost me. I'm not that into it that much, which I get if people respond to kind of our show or shit that we've done. We've tried to mix it up and tried to get better and always done different fucking shit, whatever. But to be here 6-7 years later, still doing it, we still have that core audience. Kind of amazing, because it's hard for me to watch anything for fucking 7 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes deeper than 2 or 3. I think 4 to 5 is probably where people start to check out or whatever you want to call it. Because I watched The Wire. That's probably my favorite show. That went 5 seasons, and that was good. It almost went.
But I think like we're using favorite shows, right? Like Game of Thrones, The Wire, Lost. Think about how many shows you've watched that you're like, I'm going to get into this. I heard it's great, and you don't make it through 4 or 5 seasons. You're like,
yeah, Better Call Saul
Things.
was like that for me. I watched a couple seasons of Better Call Saul, and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's. I get what's going on, but I don't need to watch the rest.
What's the show with William H. Macy?
Shameless.
I feel like that was like the one that
First
people got sick
great.
of. Like after 4 seasons of it or whatever it was, people are like, I can't believe these guys are still poor, and like he's still like coming home drunk. Like it was the same thing. And then I heard the final season. I didn't watch it. That's probably the only show I didn't watch the final 2 seasons. I just stopped watching one of my shows that I watch, and I heard like the ending's one of the more preposterous endings of all time.
Remember, Frankie, when Succession came back for season 2 or 3? I remember you made the point that it's a show that learned what people liked. They liked that Cousin Greg was like neurotic and he couldn't form a sentence. And then, fast forward to season 3 where that's all that he does. It's a bit of a bad example because that show is still great, but it is when a show realizes what the public likes. And I know Lost got, no pun intended, but they got lost in that, where they would see what the fans liked or what the critics were saying, and they would adjust the show to what they were saying, as opposed to what they did originally when no one was watching because it wasn't a show. They were just like, this is what's in my brain, and this is what I want to write, this is what I want to shoot. When a show learns what the audience likes, and starts to make the show for what the people like, it loses a little bit of what it was originally.
Hey, that's exactly what I made. That's the exact point I made last show, where I was like, we could switch everything to the beer drinking. Everyone thought that was like shots at every other fucking brand, but it's like, we've always just done the things that we've always done. Do we switch the model just to get these easy YouTube clicks? Like, do you just sit there and do that just to kind of morph into it? And I think like Succession and all that stuff, I think they do a little bit of both, which I think is successful, where it's like everyone loves that Cousin Greg can't get a sentence together. And it kind of happened naturally in season 1. And then season 2 and 3, he literally couldn't speak. Like he would never, ever finish a sentence. And it was almost infuriating to listen to him talk. I love him. I love him personally. We did a pizza review with him, and I love him on the show. It's one of the best shows of all time. But like, they definitely saw, people love when he can't get a sentence together. Let's really hammer that home. And he couldn't do it.
For me,
It's,
it was Jin Yang in Silicon Valley is a good example of that. Did you guys watch Silicon Valley?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where it was like he would come in as like a bit character, and then everyone loved him, and then they just jammed him down your throat the last season and a half, and it was like, all right, we've had enough
main
Jin Yang.
character.
Yeah,
it's like Kramer coming through the door. People love Kramer coming through the door.
Right.
It's an internal debate that we have with our own YouTube of the point that Frankie was making, which it's like if we on one end we always want to create stuff the way we want to create it, right? Like that's the goal. That's what we always want to stick to. But if there's let's say you have to change it by 10% and you'll triple the views, right? You have to like sacrifice 10% of doing it the way you want to do it to do a little more chop cutty or YouTubey or whatever the fuck it is. Then like, is that a sacrifice you're willing to make? I would say like probably yeah. If it's going to go, if it's still going to be 90% what we want it to be. But if you get to like, well, it's 50%. You got to change 50% of it needs to be sacrificed to like changing the editing, changing the way that you do it, changing the way you film it in the interviews and the format, because it'll get 4, 3, however many times the views, it'll get 700,000 instead of 100,000 or whatever the hell that is. Then like, would you make that sacrifice? I would say no. So it's like, we have these discussions a lot, just so folks know out there and you almost can't help but be a victim to watching others. If you watch Good or Bob Does Sports Guys or whoever, and you see stuff that they're doing that goes and pops off, you can't help but like not let that seep into your own viewpoint. Even if you purely believe that you're going to stick to doing stuff the way you want to do it, you're naturally a human being. Even when if you listen to or watch ESPN or another podcast, your takes on sports get infused by those things that you hear because you're a human being. That just happens no matter what.
And it would be irresponsible not to. You have to keep an eye on the competition and an eye on the audience and know what's working and what's not working.
And you would think that they saw what we did and they kind of just made changes to be unique, which is what everyone should do in business. That's just what you do. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, when we like do our yearly reports and we're like, oh, we had no 20-minute videos and nothing was jump cutty and nothing was like catered for that young YouTube audience. I think about like, all right, imagine we just eliminated all of our long form videos that we've been doing for 3 years. Then like when you look at our resume of golf content that we've put out into the world, I think that it's diminished of what the potential we could do. I think if you look at our catalog of videos and you go through all of the ones that we've actually taken time to do, not like the foreplay verses or the rigs verses and the stuff that we end up doing each day, but like the actual ones. I was talking to Brendan about this last night. Every time we put out an actual video that Brendan and Alex and all these guys sit down,
like a featured video,
which we did a lot of them this year, at least 2 a week. I mean, it was insane how many we were doing. If you look at those all crushed it in numbers, and every single one of them was like an hour long or more. You have all these travel series videos where you see every single hole from hole 1 to hole 18 with someone describing where the best place to hit each shot. So if you're going on a trip with your buddies, you can watch one of those videos, and that can be your precursor to your trip, your buddy's trip, your boy's trip to Bannon, your boy's trip to Myrtle. Do we get rid of that just so that we can go play spin the bat and then like hit a ball? Like, yeah, maybe we can change a little bit of that, but I'm kind of like proud of the fact that at the end of the day, at the end of our career, that will be our catalog of videos. That's our lane. That's like what we've chosen to do. So we have to keep doing, you have to keep some of the sauce that you've started cooking
for
with.
Sure. But the flip side is you don't want to be so stubborn that you become the thing that you ultimately replaced. Right?
Exactly.
You don't want to sit and be stubborn and say, this is the way we've always done it, so we're going to keep doing that no matter what, because then you're the generation before us that we get so jacked up.
Call that the media center. That's what
we call that the media center. We call it old man media. You don't want to be
wearing white shoes staring at a window.
That's right. You really, if you are too stubborn, you lose focus of that and you do become that. Now, I don't think you have to wholesale change everything, but a little mix of this, a little mix of that. I think that keeps you going. Like we talk a lot about on the last 2 episodes, just Barstool as a whole. The main thing that has gone well is adaptability.
Yeah.
Like when Dave was like, all right, I'm a newspaper. Now I'm a blog. Now we're podcasts. Now we're videos. Like the willingness to change is what keeps you ahead. And
we always talk about it out loud. We always have these on-air meetings, just like Dave did when he was like on the rundown being like, I'm starting a TikTok podcast. And everyone's like, that's fucking stupid. That's like ridiculous. What are you going to do? Get like 8-year-olds like on board with Barstool? And then now he has the biggest TikTok brand.
TikTok is Think about
in the
far TikToks
world.
come in 2 years.
He's
Like,
with
it's
Brianna
the
Chicken
biggest
Fry,
thing in
and
the
he's
world.
with Josh Richards, and they get whenever there's drama on TikTok, they go on BFFs, and it's just like it's the source of all the news on the biggest platform in the world. So,
Dude,
so
they had one
in
YouTube
that
video.
sense-
Remember that when they put that out, that there was all that drama going on, and they in like 10 minutes they had 1 million views on their
Crazy.
YouTube.
They had like
videos.
1 million concurrent views on a premiere. I think it was like the highest premiere ever.
I have
They-
a
and
question
at the end of
for. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think you'll just see 20-minute videos now from us. You know, I mean, there's gonna be like,
Do
we're
some,
definitely
yeah.
just gonna, I think we're definitely gonna cater to like some people that want different stuff. I mean, that's just adapting.
So
Doesn't
I
mean
have a
we won't change
question
who we
for the YouTube guy, or for, I guess, Alex Bush. When I was at Digest, there were two different metrics that we would look at for an article, and one of them was total views, and another one of them was average time spent, because like on the actual article.
Right.
Because if you clicked on an article and it got 1 million page views, but everyone read it for 20 seconds because it was basically just a tweet and some text, that was different than if you got like a My Morgan Hoffman piece got whatever views, but the average time spent and the engaged time. So does that matter on YouTube? Does it matter
Yeah.
if people are
Big
staying
time.
and
Matters
watching?
with advertisements. Our average like retention rate is through the roof. It's the longest at Barstool by like 10 to 15
So it does
minutes.
matter. So it matters that people watch for
Oh yeah.
if you for 30
Yes.
minutes.
I would
Got
say
it.
like,
Okay.
dude, on our like on Breaking 90, the average retention rate is like 43 minutes, like 44
Right.
minutes.
That's
I want to
amazing.
say
It's
across
absurd.
YouTube, it's like less than 5 minutes, isn't it?
We
Well,
get
I-
messages from YouTube, like our YouTube rep being like, I don't know what you guys are doing. You're obviously not getting like 500,000 to 1 million views, but like on your 300,000 view videos, people are watching the entire thing. I mean,
And that
because you got to think out of 300,000 people, maybe like 10, I'm not going to do the math on this, but if the average of an hour long video is like 41 minutes, that means like most of them are watching all 30 minutes.
right, because
all-
there are
all
people
hour.
who are clicking out after 30 seconds.
Right.
That's amazing
Yeah.
though. That's why videos pay so much higher than articles, because my Morgan Hoffman piece, which set every record at Digest,
Had
time
to.
spent, page views, the average engaged time on that piece was about 9 to 10 minutes, I believe.
Right, which is insane.
Because people just don't read. I mean, especially a piece that long, it took about 40 minutes to read. So, I mean, people made it through a fourth.
You got my whole 40 minutes, Dan. That was a great
Right.
article.
But
Yeah,
it's
you got
just-
my
it's-
40.
It's just interesting to see the different metrics and like see how long people are watching.
Yeah, I think I looked right now. It's the average retention rate on YouTube is about 50% or so, and I wonder I don't know what the average video time is, but if the average retention rate is 30 or 40 minutes on a Breaking 90 episode is around that long, right? Maybe
Yeah.
a little closer to 45. So it's people are watching 80%. So that's fucking astronomical. So yeah, so I think people actually enjoy when we do this bullshit where we air out stuff, but yeah, it's something that we debate all the time, and the people debating and making these decisions are us. And it's not like we're trained in this. Like, yeah, we do have folks at Barstool that are more like consultants that we throw questions at. We ask about YouTube stuff, but mostly we just do trial and error. We change fucking thumbnails or titles or, whatever. And we see what works, what videos we've put out that have popped off. Obviously, it helps. We have Roy McIlroy in a video, but yeah, that's
Or
sort of
Tiger Woods.
our strategy has been just to try stuff and see how it works. And so far, it's gone pretty well, but it can always go better. So
We do have consultants, YouTube consultants, at pretty much every major platform. We have a consultant for that. And I will say, for a lot of this, we've gone with our gut and have mostly been right. So we've been emboldened by that to a degree where you just feel like, I think we as a group have a pretty good grasp on what is going to work and what's not. Now, YouTube decides, their algorithm will decide like, oh, if there's this thumbnail or, there's certain parts of it that YouTube is just going to pick up on and push to a lot of people. But in terms of the content and what goes out and what people like, I think this group has a pretty good grasp on that. So, whether it's we adjust a little bit where we're still going to do the hour-long stuff and we're going to do some 20-minute stuff, which I'm sure is probably where we're going to land. Whatever we do, we're going to go with our gut and we're going to go with what we think is right.
and our blanket kind of mission statement that we've had is similar to Tiger Woods, which winning takes care of everything. They ask him all the time about world ranking points. You're going to be, just be like, I don't know, winning takes care of everything. For us, good content takes care of everything. If you just create good content, it doesn't matter. Like you can change a little thing. Maybe it'll get in the jet stream a little bit more. Sure. Overall, if you just create great content, great stuff, that's what's going to matter.
And great
that's gonna prevail.
thumbnails.
What's gonna be really
the thumbnail guy is helping.
Yeah,
a
the
lot.
thumbnail
thumbnail guy is
Thumbnails
helping.
are huge now.
What's gonna be really interesting is see how the TaylorMade series does this year, because we definitely kind of catered a little bit more towards the YouTube style of things, because this was our, what was it, third year doing it, and we were getting like kind of a repeat kind of guys where we've already played matches against them. So like, how could we change it? I thought it was super entertaining, probably our most entertaining one yet. So it will be interesting to see how people see it, where it's like you're not just playing a regular round of golf against guys, you're doing different things with also golf being included. That'll be interesting to see, because I thought that stuff was great.
I think
So it
it'll
kinda
do well,
goes
and I
against-
think it's going to be really entertaining. I think
Yeah, right.
it's not just going to get views. I think it's really good stuff. We went in,
Yeah.
I know we spoke about it a lot on the show, so we don't have to rehash it, but we went in with more of a plan. We executed on it. We had actual props and shit that we did and challenges and whatever.
The players are still talking about it to this day. Like
I
that
saw
was
Scotty Scheffler yesterday on the putting green in Kapalua, and the first thing he said was a question about my shirt, which will make sense to you guys, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I like that. All right, this little band right here. I mean, I know it's New Year's resolution time. You're trying to be better. You're trying to improve as a human. I'm here in dry January, and everybody's at the gym, and they got new diets and all the whole deal. This puppy right here, this Whoop band, it's the official fitness wearable of the PGA Tour. This thing, we've been wearing them for years now. This is the Whoop 4.0. It's smaller. It's more sleek, is the best way to say it. And now it's got these added data points. It's got your respiratory rate. Mine's good. Blood oxygen, which is incredible that it has that. Mine's great. My skin temperature, plus 0.1, which is in the range of negative 0.6 to plus 0.5.
Your skin's very important, by the way.
It's
It's the biggest organ on the body.
I searched yesterday how to make your face
organism.
less fat. How to make your face less fat was on my Google machine yesterday.
Eat less.
And one of them was
It's a good one.
it was
true.
basically like your skin. It was just explaining just like how like you need to drink water because like it's basically inflammation. Your face is getting fat. You got to drink water. You got to eat all these antioxidant foods. I ate tofu yesterday, which is something we could talk about in a later date. It was actually really good. It tastes like a scallop. It's got the same consistency as a scallop. I actually really enjoyed it. It puts a little vinaigrette on it. But at the end of the day, what I saw was like what you eat is shown on your skin. Like your skin can get affected. Like, and you have to really take care of that aspect. I never thought of that. Like if your skin's a little dry or inflamed and not looking good, it really comes down to diet. And when you talk about skin temperature, I feel like that all kind of is all encompassing into being a healthier person. I don't know what a good skin temperature is. Obviously Whoop does, but it got me thinking like, you know, that stuff's important. Like you see that on that app and you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like,
well,
who
what
cares
Whoop
about my
does is
skin?
it takes all of your like your averages. Like how this is how you normally are, and you're normally feeling pretty good. So when you like when something's off, it'll tell you you're like, oh, you're regularly like this. Your skin temperature is here. Now it's here. So you might have to make some changes or do whatever you need to do to get it back into that range.
I hooked my Whoop up to a Peloton. It was very easy. It literally says, do you have...
I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh, yeah. Your heart rate goes right on the screen, and then it goes into your Whoop, and then your Whoop says that you were cycling. So it's all connected. It's incredible.
Whoop also just dropped a feature called Trends, where you're able to see the progress you're making on a weekly and monthly basis, whether you're looking to get in shape or just play better or be a better person, be healthier, have your skin not look as bad. Whoop makes it super easy to track your progress, even during those moments where you get a little discouraged. Go to whoop.com. That's WHOOP.com. Enter code 4 to save 10% off any membership today. That's whoop.com. Enter the code 4. How you got any? What's the boots on the ground?
It's first day of school.
Yeah.
First day of school. It's big time first day of school vibes. I like it because it's the first event of the year. So all of the calendar year endorsement deals ended. And that's not something that guys really like tweet about or talk about. So you definitely see guys in the range and they're looking around like, oh, that's a new logo on his bag. Or like, damn, like I didn't realize he had like he was a Nike guy now. Like Tom Kim showed up in full head to toe Nike.
I saw that.
People were like fired up. They were like, all right, Tom Kim, like he got the bag this offseason. So there's definitely a little bit of everyone's kind of looking around. Patrick Cantlay looks like the creative player on 2K because he's got basically no logos. And you ask him, and he gives you this wry smile, being like, "I'm in the market for new clothing." It's just a little bit of a first day of school vibe. So it was cool yesterday, and it's golf, for all of the negatives that it has in the middle of the summer. We talk about like. They're in Charlotte, and then it just kind of, the tour can be kind of monotonous. Easing you into the holidays with the Bahamas, and then easing you out of the holidays with Hawaii, pretty fucking great.
No, it's nice. It's really nice. I was texting with Mike Essie yesterday. He said he went to bed. He fell asleep one night looking at the stars and was woken up by the whales, is a text that he sent me. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, you're in fucking Hawaii. Like, it's extending the holiday break for an extra week, and like the maximum amount that you can just soothe and ease yourself into a new year is what's going on out there, which I like. I have no fucking issue with that whatsoever. On the endorsement deal situation, I mentioned it off the top. I imagine people probably wouldn't want us to talk about this or whatever. I don't really care. So the No Laying Up crew signed with Titleist. They've been Callaway for a while. We obviously signed with TaylorMade a couple years ago. And the interesting part about that is right afterwards, I saw that the Good crew announced that they went with Callaway. And then also I saw that Kevin Kisner, who's been Callaway for a long time, is now not with Callaway and is with Wilson staff. So There's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts. And to put a little bit of context on this for the listeners from us, is a few years ago, we made kind of the push with what we're doing to basically pitch ourselves more like a professional golfer on the whole, and from a sponsorship standpoint, and get more away from the one-offs. And if people recall, in 2020 during COVID, which everybody's fighting, trying to make advertising dollars and all that, because we were in the middle of a global pandemic, the whole fucking world was shutting down. But at that point, we were doing a lot more one-offs. There's certain videos we'd be in one apparel company, next video we'd be in a different apparel company, then we'd have a certain equipment thing, whatever. And we said, as a whole brand at Barstool Sports, that paints ourselves as authentic. And now here, 1 week we're wearing this, next week we're wearing that. Seems a little bit, it's just tough for us. What we would like to do, we worked with our business team at Barstool, and they did a phenomenal job with this, is we think that we're as relevant week in and week out as almost any pro golfer on earth. So we should have closer to deals like they have, where we wear the same apparel, where we rock the same equipment, and then day in and day out, we're plugging the same stuff. We're going to over deliver because that's what we do. That just becomes a part of our life. Let's do that. And they went out, pitched it. They had bidding with different companies and did their whole sales thing. And we ended up obviously with TaylorMade at the beginning of 2021. I believe was that, which was whatever, was that 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. And then TaylorMade, we signed we re-upped with them relatively shortly after that. TaylorMade's been fucking amazing with us. I can't even imagine being with an equipment company that's better than the equipment company that Tiger Woods chooses to use, and Rory McIlroy chooses to use, and Scotty Scheffler chooses to use. So it's been nothing but the best. And then we did that obviously with apparel. Peter Millar's become an enormous part of everything that we do. G4, Owens Mixers was there forever. Chevy's with us now. Like, that's just become a big part of our model and how we do it. I don't think it's a stretch to say that other entities saw that. I don't think it's a stretch to say that golf endemic companies saw that the influential world, and this is no surprise to anyone, in terms of social media, TikTok, YouTube, all the shit that we've talked about already, is going to be, going forward, the place that you get exposure almost more so than anywhere else. And so seeing these kind of tweaks, and Dan talking about, oh, this guy went from this endorsement deal to that endorsement deal. We just saw that in our world on the content front in the last couple of days, which is pretty damn cool. I know it's competition and all that. Yeah. I thought it was pretty damn cool to see the No Laying Up crew getting like a big Titleist deal, and to see the good crew getting like a Callaway deal. Like, yeah, those are our competitors. Yeah, that's TaylorMade's competitors. I think that's really, really cool. I think that's going to deliver more content. I saw what JT and Spieth are playing. Like, I think that's overall a pretty awesome thing for the world of golf.
Yeah, I think the manufacturers have made a decision that signing good or signing Foreplay to a deal is going to sell more golf clubs than signing world number 65. I mean, it's a cold calculation. And I think the reason why is because especially with Good makes a ton of sense with how young their audience is. It's like,
Yeah.
if you look at the 10 to 16 demographic, I would bet you, I mean, I don't know if there's a way to measure this, but a higher percentage than you would think of those people watch more golf on YouTube than they watch on the PGA Tour.
Oh, a million times.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, and golf is this unique thing where it's like, there's no real culture, I don't think, of people playing basketball on YouTube or football on YouTube, but there's this whole side to the golf business that doesn't exist in other sports that has forced these manufacturers to look outside the box with their marketing deals.
Well, and it's for like TaylorMade specifically, because we can speak to that, where they still have the Rorys and the Tigers and the
big
Skies.
guys.
Big guys, huge guys that you need for a company like TaylorMade. And then it's like, hey, why don't we, try and reach this other audience, this YouTube, this podcast, this social media audience with a foreplay, a Barstool Sports. They do reads on Chiclets and PMT, and it just reaches like Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods are going to reach who they're going to reach because they are who they are. They're going to be on broadcast. They're going to be on big commercials. People are going to see them if they watch golf. But then there is this audience, this very young audience. And if you know anything about marketing dollars and demographics, you want a young audience. No matter what, you want a young audience that can spend money. And that is where a foreplay of Barstool Sports thrives. So why not throw some money at them, integrate them a little bit with our content, have them use our clubs, have them wear our apparel, have them wear our shoes, and we'll just see what happens. And clearly it has been successful with us to the point where these other brands are reaching out to these other entities being like, let's try it with you guys. That's just what is going on.
And they're all in Carlsbad, right? Like that's where these companies are. Those people all know each other. They all work in the same industry. They all get feedback that this has worked out incredibly well for TaylorMade, incredibly well for us. And Dan, you were talking about this earlier with like, do you take number 65 in the world or you take, Good? Let's use Good, for example. And I pulled up the Callaway guys. I think you got one name there that's bigger than Good. So they got John Rahm, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Mark Leishman, Siwoo Kim.
I don't know if Sam Burns is even selling more clubs than Good.
I would say John Rahm is bigger than Good.
Yeah.
And then after that, maybe it's a toss-up with Xander, maybe depending on how good of a year he has. But the thing that you're beholden to if you go that old school route is they're not relevant all the time, right? Like if you do this big deal and you're relying on Xander Schauffele or Mark Leishman or Sam Burns at this point, obviously Rahm's Rahm, but you need them to win multiple times a year or be in the hunt all the time. And even then you're hoping that the TV coverage happens to like them that week and puts them on TV and they get that exposure where you know what you're going to get with us and with these other crews that are doing it, which is like 52 weeks of the year. We're putting out a couple podcasts that are an hour and a half long that are on YouTube. 2 days a week now, we're putting out these featured videos that Frankie has detailed greatly, that our guys work their dicks off on, that are 20, maybe 20 minutes going forward, 20, 45, an hour and a half long, that we're going to be up there using TaylorMade, rocking Peter Millar. We're going to be on social, putting out social ads, daily nines, breaking 90s, fixing Frankies, like all kinds of stuff that we're there all the time. So you're not hoping to God that we just happen to be relevant that week. Like, in theory, these successful brands, and bless up, we've become one of them, we're relevant all the time. And this is clearly the calculation that TaylorMade and these other companies have made. And I think we're going to see more of it going forward.
And the value is there, right? Like, I don't know the specifics of any deals, of the Tigers, of the Rorys, of the Rahms or whatever. I would imagine it's a pretty rich deal. And then this is like a new market for everybody. Like, we've never done something like this before we did it. All like TaylorMade had never done something like this. All those other brands have never done something like this. So you're just kind of like, let's try this. Here's how we value it right now. And let's see what the fuck happens. Like and I think you're right about that, where the relevancy is super important. Like, we're talking YouTube videos that get hundreds of thousands of views. And you just, like you're saying with the contention part, you don't know what these golfers are going to do week in and week out, but you kind of know where the views are coming from these YouTube brands.
But these golfers don't have the same brand loyalty.
Real quick, I do know that I don't want to come off as ignorant. I know the No Laying Up guys have been with Callaway or were with Callaway for several years, but I do believe that was not as comprehensive and as all in of a situation as what it appears these newer deals and what our deal is from the stuff that I saw. I could be wrong on that. I don't know the specifics at all, but just from talking with people behind the scenes, talking with a couple of their guys, which those guys have always been nice to us in person. It's like that. I do not believe that deal was on the same type of level as the deals that we're looking at now. And I could be wrong about that, but I don't want to come off like, oh, nothing's like this ever happened before. They did have a Callaway thing, but again, I think it was a little more, it was just kind of smaller and I think less involved than the deals that we're seeing now.
I think it's also a brand loyalty thing. Like, I think you have to have those big golfers as almost as like a prerequisite. Like, okay, we have these guys, so we're one of those brands, right? We're one of those brands that the best players in the world are going to use. Now, how do we differentiate ourselves? Not a lot of people are feeling a lot of brand loyalty towards Sam Burns, and that's no disrespect to Sam Burns. He's just a quiet kid. He's probably 10 in the world or 12 in the world. But Good and Foreplay and No Laying Up have these fans who have been with these people and they've been listening to them for fucking hours every single week. And so when they tell you, like, we're Callaway guys, you want to be a Callaway guy too. There's just it's a parasocial connection that people have with these brands that they just don't have with PGA Tour players.
Shout out to TaylorMade for being like one of the first to do this, and they have by far the best clubs out of anyone. I mean, that's not even just a plug. Like, when you have Tiger Woods playing for you and Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa and Scotty Scheffler, why do you need to go and get anyone? You know what I mean? That's the amazing part, that they saw the vision. The Mike Essies and the
Barbuti,
the Barbudis of the world,
Ryan Lander, our guy.
Ryan, like the fact that they
awesome.
saw through all of that and was like, no, let's actually pivot before everyone else does, because we know that there's going to be this untapped market where everyone's going to want to buy stuff on YouTube. Yeah, and there's also, it'll be interesting to see how many like 9, 10-year-olds like are into these other brands now. I mean, we definitely have an older demographic than the competition. It's just like what we've seen. Maybe not No Laying Up, but it'll be interesting to see if they can like make all these kids like Callaway kids. I don't know how successful that'll be, but we'll see. Hopefully,
but it's also this is also coincided with deals. The deal flow with average PGA Tour players or not is way lower than it used to be.
Yeah,
so there's this trade-off here, because it used to be, you got a PGA Tour card, you could get $100,000 to wear a hat, and it was like that happened all, it was quick. That's just not there anymore, and so many more guys are going the free agent route because Riggs, we talked about this with Aaron Wise. If a guy can get $200,000, $250,000 from Ping or from Cobra at the beginning of the year, that's great. But that comes with things that he has to do, and he has to, go to their media days, and he has to play all their clubs if he doesn't like them. But if one single shot in one of these elevated events now is $700,000, then there's just no value for the players in taking a deal like that. So they have more money to spend because they're not giving the players that money as well.
Big time. And I'm actually going through this a lot, or I'm at least seeing inside the window of this with our guy, Alistair Doherty, who he's finally got his Korn Ferry Tour status, which we've documented. He's got his first 8 starts guaranteed. He's most likely, if he plays the way he knows he can, going to play a full season on the Korn Ferry Tour. So now he's got some sponsorship opportunities coming his way. Ours is one of them. We're paying him. He's going to wear our apparel, but he's got these different equipment deal offerings that, he's at a pivotal point where he doesn't really have any money in order to support himself and be comfortable financially throughout the year. He has to entertain these offers from equipment companies that might not be the equipment company that he necessarily 100% trusts in the most as another one. But he's like, I think I might have to take this money,
right,
and I'm testing out all this equipment. And where I'm like, dude, are you crazy? Like, the only thing that matters is playing the best golf that you can. Like, don't take an equipment deal where you're not as necessarily as confident going in. Like, use the best.
He needs the cash
for
flow,
you,
is what you're saying,
right?
But he's like, I have to have the cash flow. So he's in this tough spot where then he's trying to balance sponsors and trying to find sponsors that'll float him the money. And like we talked about with Aaron Wise, Dan, it's like when you go all the way up to that next level now with the elevated events and all that, you're seeing it more from players of like, no, it's not worth it for me to take the $250,000 deal for this equipment company. We could bury like PXG right now or something because they're a competitor from like PXG, because I play better golf with TaylorMade. And if I'm going to make way more than that $250,000 difference in theory by using TaylorMade over PXG, so I'm not going to take that deal and I'm just going to be able to use whatever I want, which is, I think, also more of a function now, obviously, of Tiger Woods over the last 25 years, but also of the LIV effect where there's just more money at the higher level. And so it's way more worth it now to make sure you actually do play the very best optimal golf than it is to get that guaranteed money from a sponsorship deal, because there's so much fucking money in the prize pools now.
Yeah, the purses have just exploded way faster than the equipment deals. Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I saw that come across my desk, as Frankie would say, the last couple days. I found it interesting, and I thought about it a lot, and because this is our world, this is our job, this is our career, and I think it's really cool. I thought seeing that type of stuff, I was like, dude, that's the future. That's like something that 7 years ago we couldn't have fathomed. And I remember all those responses, and I was looking at a bunch of the tweet replies to both of them that were like, congrats, guys. And that's like people doing what we've done that are feeling that success and that deal. Overall, throwing competition aside, I thought that was really cool.
I find that stuff fascinating, and I agree with you. Like, even before I got involved with this job or whatever, I always found like the media landscape fascinating, and like where it was going to go, where the dollars were going, who was getting elevated, and this and that. So yeah, it's a little strange now that we're so involved with it. Like, we're one of those brands, and we're just moving forward, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So I think the whole thing is fascinating. I agree with you.
Always comfortable, always epic designs, always guaranteed to impress. Look, it's no joke that we take merchandise very seriously. We love merchandise. We love going into pro shops and getting stuff, so much so that we've created our own, and it's the Barstool store. You go to store.barstoolsports.com. We're all wearing stuff right now. I got the Peter Millar Lava Wash hoodie with this cool B Cross T logo that we whipped up. Trent Ryan's got a little For the Cure, which I believe is actually in February, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So that puppy's coming up. You're getting hyped up and ready, Trent Daddy?
I'm getting very hyped up. I'm ready. I'm wearing pink. I feel good. Frankie's actually got on one of my favorite hoodies that we sell.
Yeah.
It's not a Barstool golf thing, but it's just a general Barstool Sports hoodie.
Our merch team came up with this kind of alternative Barstool Sports logo, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, we did like a photo shoot in the office for foreplay stuff, and this happened to be in the box, and I like asked Pilar and Alistair, I'm like, can I just take that home? And like the back has an awesome logo on it. It's very cool. We're always coming up with different things that even I never see unless we're like walking in the office, and you're just like, when the hell did we come up with that thing?
Yep.
I mean, it's a stunner.
So we got hoodies, we got crew necks, t-shirts, polos, hats, beanies, joggers, you name it, we got it. Shop now at store.barstoolsports.com. You could go into the brands and click forward play, click golf. Check out the entire store if you'd like. Obviously, we got a lot of good stuff. We prefer if you buy our stuff, but store.barstoolsports.com. A bunch of phenomenal items. Our entire merch team does better than any merchandise team in the world. Allison, Pilar, Alex, Quinn, everybody over there that works hard on the merchandise team, they just do it better than anybody. I can't even imagine being better at the merchandise than they are. We're going to have merch at tournaments this year, so get ready for that. But make sure right now you get ready for the year, for 2023, by going over to store.barstoolsports.com. I want to make a quick note. If we were potentially gonna do a shoot with Dude Perfect, that ends up it's not gonna work out. I'm gonna spare everyone all the details, but I think that they were definitely interested in doing something with us, and to go full circle on the YouTube, we'll whore ourselves out for views type thing. If anybody from Dude Perfect out there knows how to get in touch, or anybody knows how I can get in touch with the Dude Perfect team and just say, hey, I know this thing that somebody else is putting together for us didn't work out. Let's get in contact and let's fucking do something.
Let's take this offline, baby. Let's take this offline. I can't
promise to you amen corner. I can't do that. But I think you'll have a good time and have a couple laughs. And
we'll throw hula hoops at pins with you, whatever you want to do.
Well, I'll jump through a fucking hoop wearing an outer space costume.
You'll get tased that amen corner.
Sure. Just whatever you guys want.
Talk about hitting your 2023 numbers. If you do one video with Dude Perfect, it's over.
Well, we talked about this when the Augusta National thing happened, where we were saying, oh, this is great because it means alternative brands are getting access to the most sacred golf course in the world. And then as the conversation went on, we started talking about subscribers and how many they have and how many we have and how many everyone has. They're just a whole different thing. So listen, I'm with Riggs. I'm with Frankie here. If anybody from that group wants to do anything, we are on board.
Yeah.
on board.
Yep. So there's got to be a way that this audio is going to get to someone in Dude Perfect. And please just, even if someone knows how I can reach out, I'll reach out. I'm not asking you to reach out to me necessarily. I need an email address, a phone number. I'll make a call. Let's get in touch. Let's fucking do this. Let's
three brands in
the internet.
2K. The 3 brands in 2K were Foreplay, Nade Shot, and Dude Perfect. We already have Nade. We're best friends with Nade Shot. That guy's the best of all time.
I love
him. We need to get him with Dude Perfect. I mean, we're on the same level in that video game as them. So hopefully we can do something outside of the virtual world. Maybe they only want to do stuff with us when they don't actually.
Our guys were sending us 2K numbers last night
Insane.
that I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're good or bad, but they seemed like high numbers.
Without giving specifics, because I'm sure they don't want to release everything, I would say that I think 2K was blown away with how many people competed in the Breaking 90 ladder challenge, where you can access, like, if you break 90, you get a piece of clothing. If you break 90 10 times, you get a hat. If you break 90 18 times, you got a shirt. And it kept going on and on. You have to play a lot of golf. You have to break 90 a million times. So when you think about it that way, like, you literally had to play about 30 times, I think it was, or maybe 25, to get the full 3 pieces of merchandise, Barstool Golf merchandise. Hundreds of thousands of pieces of merchandise were won and consumed by people. Hundreds of thousands. So yeah, without giving specific numbers, it was an insane number. Absolutely insane number. Really, really cool. And that's just the beginning. We still have more stuff coming out. Who knows how many, when our characters go into the game, who knows what that's going to take. That's going to be insane.
Those numbers, I had to confirm with our resident gaming dweeb, Alex Bush, who's behind the scenes. Those numbers are legitimate and shocking and very impressive. The Break at 90 challenge, how many people have done that? It's like, in a video game, I remember the Tiger Woods game back in the day, you would try to shoot like 46 or something. And so to think in a video game that it's so realistic, which 2K is, it's so realistic, it's so fun, it's so much like real golf that so many people are participating in the Breaking 90 challenge to basically go through the same thing Trent's going through and then continue to climb the ladder. What a fucking world we're living in right now.
Really cool.
Really
what a
cool.
world. Yeah. All right. I got some big news out of a place that's pretty close to me, Pinehurst. Pinehurst, this is coming out in 6 minutes, but our podcast is coming out tomorrow. So it'll be Pinehurst is announcing that they're building a 10th golf course.
Whoa.
And Tom Doak will be the architect of the 10th course at Pinehurst. Doak obviously has his fingerprints all over Bandon. He's got them all over Sand Valley. He's got them all over a lot of places around the world. I believe the second course that we played at Barnbougle was a Tom Doak. But anyways, he will be building the 10th golf course at Pinehurst, which will be, if anybody knows the area well, the Pit. There's a plot of land like 8-10 minutes away from the main resort called the Pit that used to be a golf course, and now it's kind of just this giant reservoir where that Pinehurst is owned for a while, and they haven't really figured out exactly what they're going to do. They've debated a lot of different plans. They have settled on creating a 10th golf course at Pinehurst that's going to be designed and built by Tom Doak. So very cool stuff out of Pinehurst.
That place
going to be
just
called number 10?
manufactures golf balls being hit. I've just never seen anything like it. Another golf course at Pinehurst is so insane. The fact that they have the demand, right? Like, think about how many people have to go there and play all 10 golf courses every single day. 10 golf courses.
Is it known how much land they have available to them?
Disney World.
It feels unlimited.
It does feel unlimited. Not to make this about me or where I went to school, but it reminds me of when you walk around Cambridge and Harvard owns everything. And you would go like a mile and a half away and there'd be like a hospital building and people would be like, oh yeah, Harvard owns that building. Harvard owns that building.
Yep.
It reminds me of that with Pinehurst, where you're like in North Carolina, like how many towns over can we drive where Pinehurst just owns everything at this point? As passionate.
What's the history behind Pinehurst? Like, how the hell did this all start? Did someone, like, was it like Walt Disney went down and found a plot of land in Orlando?
It was like an overnight destination for trains from people from the Northeast, right, Riggs? Like, there's all these like walking through the lobby of the Carolina. There's all these different like, come to Pinehurst. It's an overnight trip from New York City. Wake up in Pinehurst.
Those things are very cool. If you look at those, they're unreal. But I think that's right. I think it was like the late 1800s that was known as like a great winter or like shoulder season destination is you go down to Pinehurst, North Carolina, and they were playing like croquet, and then there was 9 holes, I think, originally, and then all of a sudden they snagged down a Ross, and he built a billion golf courses down there, and by the early 1900s, it was like this golf destination because they found the Sandhills in North Carolina, and he's Scottish, and it could play like links golf, and boom, all of a sudden you had Pinehurst. I think it's pretty much like that, but the Hollian, I think, is the original, which was built in 1895, which is why the Pinehurst logo, I think, has 1895 on it. And then the Carolina, I believe, opened in 1900.
Very nice.
Think about how long ago it is for those things to be around. The hotel was around 130 years ago.
Yeah, and then you go to Scotland, and it's like 1895 is the new
true.
course. Is the new course.
True. That's true. All right. What else do I have on my little list here? I'm playing in a golf tournament this week with our boy Alistair, who I just mentioned earlier. Kind of just real quick, I'm a little intimidated because it's a pro scratch. I'm not a scratch, clearly not a scratch golfer, but it's a big tournament. It's called the Twin Fin. It's at Greyhawk, obviously. It is around here kind of known as like a warm up for before guys go to Hawaii that didn't make it into the Tournament of Champions. So like Wyndham Clark's playing, obviously Colt Knost is playing, like Tom Lehman and his son play, a ton of pros play in this thing. If you look at the winners, the guys that have won it over the years, it's like all legitimate PGA Tour professional golfers that you know. And then you're going to have me and Alistair in this thing playing, but I think it's a little bit of a shit show. I think there's a lot of boozing that goes on. That's why we're recording so early. I just witnessed the sun come up. Dan has not seen the sun come up yet.
The sun won't come up until after this podcast is done.
I will obviously be reporting upon our performance today. We got a practice round. Tomorrow is a 2-man scramble, which I like our chances because Alistair hits the ball a mile and hits it really straight with his driver. And the one thing I'm actually decent at is wedges and putting. The following day, the final round on Friday, is just pure best ball. There's no strokes or anything. So I'm going to need Alistair to shoot like 12 under on his own ball that day.
It's crazy that you're still playing golf. Like I'm at that level right now where I don't even know if I can hit a golf ball. Like I've gone too many weeks where I don't know if I can do it again. I think every golfer that plays a ton during the summer and the fall, they experience this feeling where it's like it's been a month. The last time I think I hit one ball when we did like this commercial with TaylorMade. Like I don't know when the last time a club has hit a ball, and I'm a little nervous about it. Like I don't know if it's just going to come off the same way it usually does. Am I going to be able to hit drives? Do I even have the swing anymore? And you always have this daunting, anxiety-filled feeling, but then you go out and you're like, oh yeah, I can do it. But I am nervous. Like I just haven't hit golf balls at all.
It's strange here in New York that the weather hasn't gotten so bad that like it's
I could have
55
played the other day.
It's
It was
55 degrees right now. Like it's
know.
January 4th. We haven't gotten any snow really. And it just hasn't felt like normally, you know, when it's like, all right, put them away. You're done till the spring. Around here recently, it's just been like, you could easily play today.
It's the dirty side of global warming. It's
I guess more golf.
It's not the worst thing in the world for the golf community.
But I don't know if I buy that because we did a whole thing about how the whole world is like a degree warmer.
I know. I was talking to my uncle, and he was like, 25 years ago, because we were talking about the weather on Christmas Eve, and he was like, it was the same exact weather because he knew because like his kid got born that day. He remembers going to the car, and it was like 20 degrees, and then like when he got out of the place, it was 50 degrees the same day. It was the same thing. Oh, it was the opposite. Christmas Eve this year in New York, it was like 50 degrees in the morning, and then at night it was like 19. It dropped like so much, and he remembers like, dude, 29 years ago it was the same weather. And everyone's like freaking out that like we woke up and it was warm at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, when I was in Hawaii, I was texting my family back home over Christmas, and it was like that blizzard blew through. It was the wind chill was negative 35. My brother was sending me pictures, so I don't know. I don't know about any of that. I just know that right now it's 55 out and you could easily play golf.
You guys see this Oppenheimer movie that's coming out?
Yeah, what's his
Nolan?
Cillian Murphy.
Christopher Nolan is directing, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
What about it?
Did you see in that? First of all, it's an amazing trailer. Like the trailer is got my fucking dick rock hard.
Destroyer of worlds.
Like anything with Thomas Shelby in it, I'm obviously going to watch. And then you add that type of trailer with the suspense music in the background. He's climbing up this fucking ladder to go check on this nuclear bomb he's about to unleash. I don't think I've ever seen a trailer like that, number one. Number two, they say something in there that I couldn't stop thinking about, that he essentially says that it's not a 0% chance that he ends the world when he hits that button on that test. So I think it was like, I don't know who it is. Was it Brad Pitt or someone, maybe whoever the other main actors in that movie? I can't remember who it was, but he's like, you're telling me it's not 0%? Like there was like maybe 1% chance that when they do hit that button, the world was going to end because it was going to ignite the atmosphere. Right. And he's like, yeah. Like he looks at me, he's like,
this could happen.
He's like, yeah, it's like 98% sure it's not going to happen. But they're like, so it got me thinking, like, holy fuck, imagine hitting that button being like, I know it's probably not going to happen, but when I do, there's a 2% chance I end this thing. The whole thing.
That's the age-old thing with scientists where it's like, we can do this, but should we do this? Is the question.
Right.
Whatever the percentage is, it might be a little too high for me.
One is way too high.
I don't know what they said in the trailer, whatever the percentage was, but it's just a little too high if it's more than 0 for me.
Anything higher than like 0.00000000000.
Yeah, I think you get it once you get to the 0.1. Even 0.1 is way too high.
And way too high.
If you give me percentages like you're gonna blow up like your city or whatever with like a test, I might even be able to sign off on that. Like if it's for the betterment.
Crazy.
I'm just saying, like the world. I know it's crazy. I'm just saying to end the world where there's no. I understand like there's reasons, and I'm gonna watch the movie. There's reasons for why they were doing this. There's for you have to do it. I guess I don't know. I'm really excited to see it, but to end the whole thing, no, man, I can't. Imagine hitting that button,
bro. I think you are mostly correct, and with what a lot of people would say is right.
I agree.
Crazy.
I agree.
It was going to ignite the atmosphere. What does that even mean?
I watched Glass Onion. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw you like shitting on people for shitting on the ending. The ending was horrific. And that's okay. You're allowed to say that. The ending was horrific. They like stopped caring about the movie.
That's fine. I don't like feel that strongly about it. I was just shitting on people because
I saw a reply to one. I think you tweeted like, I saw Glass Onion. It was good. Someone tweeted, Trent, you have a take that all movies are basically fine. Is that true?
I do. Yeah. I think generally most movies are pretty good.
Yeah, just I think fine, like perfectly serviceable.
I would say fine to you, and you can really only go up.
Yeah.
People who walk out of movie theaters grow up. Who are you to say like this movie's so bad that I'm gonna leave and not see the rest of it? That's immature and absurd. But I think all movies. Like I've never watched a movie where I was like, oh, that was just so bad. I barely got
because
through
you're
it.
choosing which movies to watch. If I like forced you to watch one of these ridiculous movies, you go on these fucking channels. I mean, Verizon has a billion channels and there's just nonsense on there. If I sat you down for 3 hours to watch this biopic of some random fucking guy, you're going to be like, I hate this movie. You're going to get up and turn it off. You're just going to click it.
We're speaking theoretically here. I don't know. I've never watched those movies.
Really?
But
so you don't think like every movie you watch? I'm saying you don't think every movie you watch is because like you wanted to watch it. Like so, I don't
know if I'll just throw on a movie. Like I'll go onto a random Netflix and be like, oh, that looks interesting.
And then you're just like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like
I guess my point is there has.
My
to be bad
thing is I don't
there.
understand when people get so mad at movies that they have to publicly be like that was horrible. It's like I bet it wasn't.
No, I bet it was totally fine.
You're just throwing out like reviews. Then, like you're just not allowed to have like a review about.
I want people to know that this is my opinion. I'm not saying. Yeah. I think all movies are fine. People can say that, but it's like, all right. I don't think people are like. I just think people like to get mad about things because they think that their opinion matters.
I completely agree.
It's with everything in the world. I mean,
yeah, like with a good point. Like. It's almost like it feels a little bit like when we're asked to rate or rank golf courses. And I'm like, we're almost starting every course at like a 7 or an 8. Right. So it's like if you say one's your least favorite on the trip, it's
those
still
are the best golf courses.
8.5.
Yeah, but there are still
yeah.
guys who say that those great golf
There's-
courses, like there are people who say that Torrey Pines like sucks,
Right.
and like you never play
Right.
it, and it's a joke, and
Right.
it's the butt
See,
of
I
every
agree
joke.
with that, but in the golf course example, I'll take you to a shitty golf course that you don't want to play all 18 holes. I'll take you right now. It's called the Eisenhower Blue Course. I mean, not the shit on.
But I don't
like,
know
my
about
hometown
that. Like, I
course,
still think because like
But
those are the courses
Ah.
I grew up playing in St. Louis too. We play this place called Bear Creek all the time with my buddies, and by all accounts, it's a pretty shitty course, and we love it. It's like great. It's not so. It's like it's hard.
there
to
are
be
shitty
like,
golf courses out there for sure. There's ones
There's
that are
shitty
bad.
golf courses, but I don't know that like I don't know that I would ever be at a point where I'd be in the middle of the round and be like, this place sucks so much, I'm leaving this. I'm walking off like you would walk out of a movie and be like, this movie sucks, I'm leaving the movie.
And there might be though, like it might be like just sand greens, and you're just like we can't play. Like we've gotten tweets about places that they've charged like $80 and the greens are just ripped up because like the tractor ran over it and like everything's
Yeah.
overgrown and they don't have pins in the. I mean, there's places in the middle of the country that just don't give
I
a
would say
fuck
that's
about
like
their
not a
golf
movie
courses.
that would even go out. That's like
But
that
some
movie just
movies
didn't even
like
get made.
shit on like they had no budget and like they just like cheaply made it, and you sit there and you're like, what the fuck is this thing? This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. What is
There's
this?
probably bad movies, I agree, but like none that I
There's
would
just
talk
people who
about.
are like,
think it's a
I
bad
didn't like,
movie?
I didn't like the cinematography of this movie, and I didn't like it. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's a movie. You've chosen to watch this, and it's probably pretty good. You just think that you have a critical eye that is like, no, I didn't like the pacing. It's like, okay.
She got an email from Bob Jordan. You know who that is?
Bob Jordan.
Does he run good? I mean, does he run Dude Perfect?
He runs Southwest Airlines.
No, but is it like a?
It's not
yeah,
just
it's the
Riggs.
general on it.
It's not just, hey, Riggs, saw that you were demanding my resignation.
No. Dear valued Southwest customer, on behalf of Southwest, I want to let you know we're so sorry. That's the South Park clip. We're sorry. Sorry.
Super
You guys
sorry.
seen that clip? Sorry. Our purpose. Why do you capitalize purpose? Our purpose. Dan, he
It's
started
probably-
his
it's probably-
sentence with our
probably-
purpose. What is he,
Probably,
God?
it's probably like
Yeah.
a company principle.
Yeah,
it's like one of
an
those
official
values.
document. Official
Yeah.
document. Yeah.
Says, okay, so the first, the greeting says, Dear valued Southwest customer, comma, on behalf of Southwest, I want to let you know we're so sorry. Then a new paragraph, and it starts, our purpose has always been, and R and purpose are both capitalized.
That's one of those things where, like, when you
Right?
like a company has a big meeting and they're like, "These are our 5 values. This is our purpose.
What
This is
an
what we're
asshole
trying
this
to
guy is.
convey." When they're selling like pens, but
How to
it's-
claim
we
your
had core
25,000 rapid rewards bonus points. All right. We're talking. I saw this tweet come across my desk yesterday. Anyways, yeah, I would agree largely with Trent though that like I'm not going to choose to watch a movie that I know is shitty. Like I'm just going to probably select movies that are going to be at least on the minimum level.
Yeah, just don't let Jeff D'Lo and those boys see this clip. I mean,
Oh,
you're
they
just
love it.
putting
I tell
you're
Joe that
putting away the
I tell
art
Jeff
of
D'Lo
like
that-
liking and not enjoying movies and like discussing like that's what
Me
a
and-
movie is. You like want to discuss it and you want to
Me
talk
and-
about.
well,
like,
movies
this-
are my thing. Me and Jeffy Lowe talked
Right.
about once upon a time. Like I don't need to be critical of. I don't need to look at everything with a critical eye. Like I can just watch a movie because I like movies. Like I would talk to Jeff D'Lo about it. He wanted to have me come on a couple years ago and just do a segment where every movie review was just like, "Ah, that was pretty good," and then just leave. Because I don't feel the need. Like I'm saying, I just watch movies. I don't have to be like, "Oh, that was this or that was that." I just watch them like, "All right, man, that was pretty good."
It's like
Yeah,
watching
the Torrey
Batman
Pines
versus
example is a
Superman.
great one. Torrey Pines one's a great one. That's like Jeff D'Lo and them are sort of the like fried egg of like movies, and whereas we're kind of like we're just enjoying.
I'm just a person. I'm
Well,
just a
we're
guy
just
who
kinda like
watch movies.
looking at it like, oh, that was great. That was good entertainment.
You guys
for a couple
hated Torrey
hours.
Pines, but I mean, at the end, I mean, there's a whole video about how much you said it was like the most impossible golf course of all time.
Oh, when you
and,
play
like,
from the tips, dude, that
It was
made me
hard.
want to quit
Sucked.
golf.
Yeah, but we didn't say the like golf course architecture was horrible. We're just like it was really
There was a little
hard.
bit of
Played
that,
it from
but
way too far back, dude.
there was a little bit about how like they don't use like the cliffs enough and like it's just a flat parkland stuff. But at the end of the day, I do think like not enjoying stuff makes you enjoy stuff more when it's good. Like the Batman vs Superman movie fucking blew, and then all of a sudden the new Batman came out, and like that's just a much better Batman movie. You don't get that without not liking the first one. I don't think you don't enjoy things unless you don't not.
I don't
enjoy
need
the
to
other
hate things to like things.
I just think that's the nature of it. Then how do you know? It's like Dave's pizza rankings. Like, how do you know a pizza's good unless you eat a bad one?
I just know that when I watch it, I like it.
Like, how do you like all pizza's pizza, but like one's significantly better than the other?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we can agree on that, but
I think he's saying that the baseline is high.
Right, the floor is really high.
The
for
floor.
me
That's what I meant. The floor. Yeah.
yeah, I think our floor is just higher.
Because
I agree with that.
I don't look at it in a critical way. I just watch a movie.
Right.
What else was I going to say? Can't remember what else I was going to say.
I don't know.
I saw. Oh, we already talked about. I saw Arrival.
Yeah.
Did you like
what
it?
other movies? I did like it. I didn't love the ending, but overall, I liked the movie a lot. Which is,
Yeah,
I think,
felt like a really good 80 minutes, and then the last one was
That's
a little.
how I feel
there's
about Glass Onion.
yeah, no.
yeah. Which
great
I don't
way
know
to
how
end it.
you would end for anybody. I mean, if you haven't seen Arrival, you're not going to. I actually don't. I was like halfway through the movie, I
20
started thinking like, how the hell are they going to
doesn't
end this? And then
Yeah.
they didn't really end it that great. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I don't know how you would really end it.
It's hard to end a movie about aliens. It's
Right.
hard
Yeah,
because
right.
we're talking about something we don't know about. Like the Oppenheimer movie is a movie that we clearly know a lot about, so it's the ending is clear. Now, how you want to present that ending is up to you. But with an alien movie, it's just like, yeah, we don't know like what we don't know their language because
I've always
just
found
alien
that to be the most impressive thing in movie making is when they it's a movie about a true story and they still make you have anxiety watching it where
Yeah.
you know how it ends. I'm trying to think of what I watched recently where I'm like, I know how this ends, but I'm still fucking shitting my
I remember
pants.
the first couple times I watched Titanic when I was a child. The second time I watched it, I was like, I feel like it's been a long time, and this thing still hasn't gone down yet.
I would say The Pursuit
What
of
came out
Happiness is a good
recently?
one. Pursuit of Happiness is a good one where you know that it ends well for him, but like throughout the whole thing, you can't believe how horrible it's going, and you think that he's not going to make it.
or
But
you
he does.
you get a Tarantino movie where he completely flips it and he changes the historical part at the end, which I always
True.
thought was interesting.
Yeah,
Fuck, I can't
Inglourious
remember which one it was.
Bastards and what was the most recent one? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Arrival's got something in it. Like I've got a little bit of a fetish for those fake newsreels that are in movies when they
Yeah.
do like fake
I know what you
CNN.
Yep.
That shit's awesome. That shit,
I
I don't know.
agree.
Maybe it's the journalism in me, but it's like how the news would cover this. And they got like the actual CNN. They'll bring in like Wolf Blitzer for a little bit. I love
Yep.
that shit.
Yep. It adds a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that gets me every time. They do those in like Mission Impossible movies, I feel like pretty well. But even then, they'll hit you with a fake one. Where they're
Yeah.
like, one of them, they start the movie with a fake one where they're tricking one of the terrorists into giving them a code. And you're all over the place. But I do, I agree with you. Those hit hard for me. I like the newsreels in movies. I've come around a lot in the last year just on the power of movies. For whatever reason, for a while, maybe it was COVID got me away, and for like a year or two, I didn't go to a theater because the whole world was shut down. But just I've been much more into movies lately, and I also had like a big, and I think I've spoken about it here, big nonfiction phase where I was just wanted to consume either documentaries or read books that were based on real stuff or listen to audiobooks. Whereas I gotten back into movies. Movies just move you.
Well, you got to go see Avatar then before it comes out. You have to. You have to.
There's a spot walking distance, I think, from my place that does
It's
it.
got to be IMAX 3D. You got to type
Yeah.
it in, search it. Where is there an IMAX 3D near me?
Have you guys seen this the Prisoners movie on Netflix? Is that what it's called? Prisoner? I keep getting it recommended to me by Bob Fox.
Wasn't
He's
that
like,
a
it's
show?
so good.
Wasn't that a show back in the day with the two brothers?
Prisoners? Jailbreak?
Oh, maybe I was thinking of Jailbreak.
I don't know. It's a movie that I keep hearing about that I haven't watched yet.
No, I have
watched it
not
tonight.
seen that.
It's like a Taken movie, I guess.
We talked about pickleball last show, and then I got inundated with pickleball companies wanting to send me their new paddles, and like the emails I got were insane. This is like I think they're calling it the fastest growing sport in America,
Has
and
to
that
be.
it's just
I believe that.
it's like
It's everywhere.
untapped. Like no one's really. I was kind of doing some searching on YouTube. Like there's definitely some views out there. Like people are watching just matches. Like they're getting 150,000 views, 200,000 views. Like tips videos. I typed in like how to get better at pickleball. Like that video had like 500,000 views of a dude just in his backyard telling people how to get better. So it's a fucking people are watching pickleball content and it's not yet there. They don't have a league yet. Like I think they're trying to create like a professional league. I know Mark Cuban invested in one. Kevin Durant invested in one.
Our boy
It's
Matt
starting to
Walsh
go.
from who was the New Zealand guy forever and played for the Miami. He hit me up. I guess him and some of his buddies are part ownership group of a team, and they want to do some stuff.
Dude, I'm telling you, we need to get in on this because I enjoy the fuck out of
talking.
it.
I
Like,
gotta go to the bathroom. But I
enjoy the fuck
so
out of
talk shit.
pickleball.
I have my headphones in.
There's these places that are popping up on Long Island, Trent. There's a place called like Pickle and Par that like this kid I grew up with just opened up in like Smithtown over here. I mean, they're pairing it with golf now, where you can hit a simulator and you can also play pickleball. It's right in our alley. It's right in our stream, and I think that we need to dip our toes in it.
I think a cool part about pickleball's rise too is it's cannibalizing tennis. So there's this crazy tension because all of these tennis clubs are converting to pickleball clubs because they can put four courts on one tennis court. So it's like this massive beef.
I don't know how we tap into the pickleball market, but I'm in. I know Lurch is a big pickleball player. You know he's a good pickleball player.
Yeah, we need to start doing some content around it.
I know
I'm playing tomorrow. Like I want to like bring a GoPro and like I mean my buddy Kyle is so good at pickleball. We played 10 games the other day and we won 8 of them out of 10 against good players because he's just dominating at the net in the kitchen, they call it. It was it's fun, dude. Like you would like it, Trent.
I bet I would. I'm not anti pickleball by any means. I just have never played, but I've seen people play, and I know people love it. I know there's golfers that love it. Scotty Scheffler played, and
Scotty and Spieth did it. Maybe we play. Yeah. Maybe we do like a little combination with.
I mean,
golfers.
That's the entry point. Is you get the big man, our big man, playing against professional players. You get them playing pickleball matches
for sure.
Maybe you get a 2-on-2. You get a novice Frankie and a expert Lurch against a couple of PJ Tour pros.
This is everything Lurch ever wanted to do here. He's just want to play paddle sports, and
it's now he's attached himself to the fastest growing sport in America. So there could really be an avenue. I want to play. I'll play whenever one of these times that you go. I'll go with you and I'll play.
It's so much fun. Like I want to go today. Like I'm like looking at times. Like it's I've got the bug. I just like moving. I like sweating, and I like the art of just like small little shots. It's nothing that doesn't hurt you. Like your arm isn't sore at the end of the day. It's just everything's touch. And like obviously
it's like big golf.
Hits.
It's like golf,
right. There's big swings. Like you go after a 250 3-wood, and maybe you can clear the water or whatever. Like you're trying your hardest sometimes, but most of the time it's a nice little chip shot.
Yeah, and it's like it's a good level of physical activity where you don't feel like you're a bum because you sat. It's like golf. If you walk a golf course, you're never like tired. You're not like gasping for air, but you're definitely sweating and you're definitely moving around. So it's perfect for us like in the late 20s, 30s demographic where like you're trying to do things that are athletic, but you're not trying to play fucking a set of tennis.
I will say, I think it's gotten like a bad rap from people that haven't played where they think like the old, like I was saying, like Susie Lou next to you is like 85 years old playing. I think that's the same with golf where you can have just like a group of like old women playing and they're just barely getting through the round. They're barely making contact. Like when you watch me and my buddies play, it was very serious. Like, I mean, there's a lot of running. We're huffing and puffing. We're panting. We're exhausted, but it's limited. It's like you get some time to relax. It's not like constant running like tennis.
What's the scoring system? Because tennis for me, whenever a big tennis match is on, people are like, oh, you got to watch Serena. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I genuinely, I don't understand the sets. I don't understand any of that. And it would frustrate me. What is pickleball?
This is the only thing that was confusing was the way you call the scoring. So essentially it would be like, let's say it was Trent and I were a team that we would start the round, or let's say like after a couple points are in, let's say we're up 1-0 and you're the first server. We would call it out 1-0-1 because you're the first server. And then if you don't get a point on your serve, then I serve, and we would call it 1-0-2. And then I would serve. And if we don't get a point there, it goes to the other team. So you only score on your serve. It's actually pretty easy. You play to 11. Well, we play to 11. I don't know what the pros do, but each side gets 2 serves each. And like if you keep rattling off points, you keep going 2-0, 2-0-1, 3-0-1. Like if I'm just acing and I'm getting points, 4-0-1, and then I hit one to the net, then you would serve and it would 4-0-2. And then if you hit one into the net, the other team gets a point. And now it's all about breaking their serve. So now you're playing defense, being like, let's get back, let's get to 2, now we get our serve. It's very fun. Yeah,
I get that. That makes sense to me.
I don't know what the pros do though. They might play to 20. I don't know what they play to.
Wow.
I got to play pickleball. I've never played. I think my ankle is healed enough now that I could play pickleball.
That thing still bothering you?
It's probably 97% right now.
Wow. God, that was 2.5 months ago.
Right. The videos are coming out.
That would look, I mean, I know it was bad. It looked bad. I saw the pictures. It looked bad. Yeah, those TaylorMade videos probably. Now
I don't
that
think we
the
ever
product-
talked. We have a video of Scotty Scheffler coming out. We have multiple videos of Scotty
Bro,
Scheffler
we
coming out.
got Scotty, we got Colin, we got everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bushman,
I mean, that's our
what's
first
our,
time hitting golf balls with with Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
True.
Bushman, what's our videos? What's our video schedule? What's our
He doesn't
video
fucking
update? We
know
got anything
shit.
coming out this week?
You know anything?
Yeah.
He's like, haven't heard.
No, we got the 3M video coming out I believe
Tonight.
Tonight, so it'll be yesterday when this comes out, and then we got the next Big Cedar next week.
Oh,
Do
let's
we
go. Is
have
that Paynes Valley? Is that Paynes Valley?
Yeah, Paynes Valley.
Let's
Big
go.
video.
That is a big video.
Paynes Valley with the reintroduction of Lurch back into the mix.
True.
Big video. I had a
Wearing
big
some
moment in that video.
interesting apparel. If you remember what he turned up in.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was so interesting that you want to talk about a tease. Lurch showed up later in the round, and then I ended up wearing his apparel within 10 minutes of seeing him. So that's how you might not even understand what that means, but that's what happened.
That makes no sense to people who weren't there, but
I was there, and I don't really know what you're talking about.
I know what he's
So,
talking
but-
about. It'll make sense when you watch it for sure.
I did something in that video that I've never done before.
See, I don't even remember that.
I'm trying to think.
Me and Lurch had a giant embrace. It was a crazy moment. I actually forgot
Oh,
about
I
it until
remember.
just right now.
I remember
yeah,
it was a little
yeah,
down.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
a downhill hole.
don't
yeah,
know.
I remember
Part of
that.
this. I was there.
So this is a great video. So Paynes Valley's coming out tonight, Thursday night.
No.
No, that'll be
Next
next
week?
week. It'll be Tuesday.
Tuesday.
What's coming out
The next
tonight?
show-
I was
3M.
redeeming my 25,000 rapid rewards points from Southwest for Bob
the
Jordan.
the Callum Tarrant
But
video.
that came out last night
Oh,
because it's actually
love
coming
Callum
out physically tonight, Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, it is. Came out last
I think
night.
so. I think it came out
Jesus.
last night, but we're recording
Oh,
this
because
on
we
Wednesday
can't put
morning.
it out during PGA Tour play. That's why.
That's right.
My
got
brain
that.
hurts.
YouTube. Go to our Four Pledges YouTube, and there's just videos there that you can watch. All right,
You're gonna
I gotta
love
play
Callum Tarrant. You're gonna love Sam
He's-
Sam Ryder.
both two excellent dudes. It's amazing how when you actually get these guys exposure in normal scenarios, you find out how many really cool, great dudes and women there are on the PGA and LPGA tours.
Scott Stallings is one of them. I gotta do a quick little update to people. I don't know if they saw this. So I saw Scott
Hit me.
yesterday, and I was like, "So, like, what? How did that happen?" Because the part that I was confused about is he's played the Masters before. Like, it wasn't like he's this new guy who they just like had no information for. He's played the Masters. Apparently, the invite was sent to his old management company, which doesn't even exist anymore, which operated out of Georgia. Scott said he's never lived in Georgia a day in his life. So I guess the package was like sitting there outside lost. And the other Scott Stallings, who is a realtor in Georgia, whose wife is also named Jennifer, so same name and same wife's name, happens to own a condo that is adjacent to the building where it was sent. So it wasn't sent necessarily to him. It just said Scott Stallings, and it had this address that was, I don't think this guy's actual address, but it was like right next door. Like, what are the
Interesting.
odds of that happening?
Crazy.
Trillion to one.
A trillion to one. And Scott said he's been in touch with the guy. He's going to have him out. He's going to have him at the Masters here. He's going to watch a practice round. They're
very
going to hang
nice.
out. They're going to have dinner. So it's a nice ending to a story, but just a wild fucking coincidence about Scott. Because Scott Stallings, I mean, but Stallings is I don't know that many Stallings. It's not like
I don't know
John
a single
Smith.
one.
It's not like John Smith, right? So for the other Scott Stallings, whose name is also Jennifer, to
Right.
live right next to that old wrong address where Augusta sent the invitation is fucking wild.
right.
It's incredibly unlikely. And that's
Imagine
putting
that
it
Scott
lightly.
Stallings is just a rogue asshole. Like he's like gonna go eat dinner with the real Scott Stallings or like the golfer Scott Stallings, and this guy is just like a problem. Like you don't know this kind of
You don't know.
this guy. We have no idea who this guy is. He's obviously nice. The fact that he went through all of this to send it to him, messaged him. The way he wrote it was so like sweet and innocent.
I play
like,
golf, but not as well as you.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
I'm just
played
saying,
it.
imagine
Wow.
one of these like trolls that always shit on us all the time. That's like a fucking like 21-year-old like college bro that's just gonna come and just like make fun of you and just fucking like try and swirl you and throw you into a fucking into a locker.
You ever been swirlied?
No,
Okay.
I feel like that's not like our
No, I was like a
It-
couple generations before. us.
yeah
Yeah,
the grease like generation.
Right.
right.
I got
Dude,
yeah.
Fucking, I was watching. Did you watch that new video of that mentalist on PMT TV? Whatever you know.
No.
Part of My Take has a YouTube video series where it's like PMTV, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And they put out a 20-minute video of that mentalist coming back. and doing fucking tricks. So we talked about him a couple weeks ago when he went into the yak. This guy, there was like some things that you could see that he did on the yak where like he basically picked Brandon Walker's contact address, and like everyone was like, well, all he does is he looks at a list of 9, hits close on the phone, and then kind of just like makes you not understand that your phone's been locked, and then you look at it, whatever. I understand that. You can go watch the video, but I have to talk about this. This fucking guy told PFT to look away. To grab as many starbursts as he wanted while he had Dan put his hands over his eyes. The mentalist had his eyes closed, and Dan Katz had his fucking hand over him. And he's like, PFT, just take as many as you want. You can take some, put some back. So as he's doing it, PFT's like picking 20 and then putting back 8 and then taking out 15. And at the end, he goes, all right, I'm done. And he goes, with his back to him, he goes, why'd you go around all the yellows? And PFT literally took all the yellows and put them all back. And PFT's looking around like, what the fuck? And he goes, you have 11 in your hand. You have 11 starbursts in your hand. And PFT just drops him and like almost had a fucking heart attack. Like just like he could not believe that this guy decided that he had 11 starbursts in his hand. Now, how the fuck did he do that?
We gotta lock him up. I don't know, but let's lock him up. We'll lock him up and we'll interrogate him.
So then he goes, think of a friend's name from your past, just any friend's name.
Okay.
And then PFT's like, all right. And he goes, you got it? He goes, it's 4 letters, isn't it? And PFT's like, what? He goes, I saw when your eyes stopped, like thinking about the name. It was 4 letters. And he goes, now think of this neon sign. See the name in the neon sign. I want you to look at all the letters in this name, right? He goes, you're looking at the G, aren't you? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, the G is the last letter of the name, isn't it? And PFT's like, what's happening? Dude, the name, he wrote down a name on a piece of paper and he goes, this is it, isn't it? And it was like Haig, Haig. That's like what PFT called this guy. How? That's not even a name. That's unfortunate. Not even a name. Haig.
I've never heard that name before.
Unfortunate.
Dude.
The whole situation
how would you like, and if he's wrong, he's an asshole. Like you come into this fucking the biggest show on earth and you like say, I'm gonna guess your friend's name, and you write down like Andrew, and he's like, no, I was thinking, hey, you're out of here. He gets it right every time. Every time. Who is this guy? And what is he doing to accomplish that? Does anyone have any thoughts? I know we don't have the answers. Does anyone have any thoughts as to how he possibly could do that?
I gotta watch the video, but I know I'm not gonna have any more answers once that happens. So, no, dude, I really don't. We got until we lock this guy up and interrogate him. I don't think we're gonna get any answers.
He's a master. He's a master of understanding people's their visuals. Like he goes to PFT, looks him in the eye, and goes, think of your first crush. When was it? 2nd grade. Okay, 2nd grade. And he goes, think of the name right now. Was it 1 letter, 2 letter, 3 letter, 4 letter? And he goes all the way up to 11. And he goes, you stopped thinking at 9, which means it's 8 letters. And then he goes, it was Christine. And he's like, yep. And it was.
He's figured something out. He's tapped into some other thing.
He must know a lot of names. He must know a lot of names. He must know a lot of names.
But
that guy's got
that would be even worse if he knew a lot of names.
Yeah,
that would be even worse.
No, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's scarier that it's not magic. Because if it were magic, you could understand.
This stuff's mental, though, man. It's like it's not magic. Obviously,
we got to get you in a room with this guy. That's all I know.
It doesn't make sense.
I got a jet, fellas.
Yeah, I think people got places to be.
Yeah, I got a call with for some an upcoming project.
Oh, that's right.
I can't miss.
Yeah.
So
great show, boys. Well, we can wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. We'll be back on Tuesday. First golf of the week of the year this weekend. Professional golf. So enjoy the Tournament of Champions. Enjoy Hawaii. We'll be back on Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.